Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Chijis once again. If you're seeing my face for the first time, my name is Chijis on this platform. You are all highly welcome. Please kindly like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to see anytime we post new videos on this platform. So last week, I dropped my introductory video to what sewing is all about, what it entails for beginners, how to start up your sewing journey. So I'd like you to go to the description box and there's a link there that will lead you to the video that I posted, what it entails. As a beginner, you need to look out for that video and know what this channel is all about. It's all about creativity, DIYs. It's very educational and motivational. So last time I decided I was going to post a basic measurement video, how to take basic measurements for garments, for outfit, any kind of garment you want to take. It could be gown, it could be tops, it could be trousers, name it, all the necessary measurements needed. I will drop that video right now. So let's go to our basic measurements video. Welcome back. So I said I was going to drop the basic measurements video. So permit me if I'm looking towards the side. My notebook is actually on the side. There are some tips that I dropped down. There are some notes that I dropped down right on this side of the camera. So permit me if I'm looking this side. I'm checking my notebook. Thank you. So when taking a basic measurement, what is a basic measurement? A basic measurement are measurements taken on your client. It could be you, it could be your client. They are measurements required for any outfit or any garment to be made. There are certain rules or guidelines that are established or they are needed when taking measurements. So I'm going to be dropping them here, and please watch how I take the measurement. So here I decided to have some of these names and measurements inscribed on this paper tape here. So you have the bust, you have the under bust, you have the waist, and you have the hip. So you will hear terms like shoulder to the bust, shoulder to the under bust, shoulder to the waist, shoulder to the hip, down. When you hear any measurement that has to do with shoulder down, it is known as the vertical measurement. Then when you hear measurements like round the bust, round the waist, round the under bust, round the hip, you should term that measurement as an horizontal measurement. We have two types of measurement that are taken on a client's body, anybody at all. It is known as the vertical and the horizontal measurement. So I personally term it as the crucifix. So the crucifix, you should know, it's like a cross sign. So that is the straight line, that is the vertical, and the horizontal line, that is the line laying like this. So I'm going to start with my mannequin now. So there are measurements that are needed to be taken. Not that all measurements are not important when taking body measurement. They are very important, but it is measurements that are needed for whatever you are trying to make, whatever garment you're trying to make. So now, in subsequent video, I'm going to talk about how the measurements that are supposed to be divided by 2, why it should be divided by 2, why it should be divided by 4. But I'm going to give you a little bit of tip, just a little bit of highlights on those measurements and why you should divide them by certain numbers. For example, now, if you check this mannequin, when you split it into 2, you have one part and you have another part. So you have the right bust and you have the left bust. Then when you turn it to the back and you split it again, you'll notice that you have this left hand side of the back and the right hand side of the back. So it does not mean that because the back doesn't have a bust, that is why maybe we are going to just divide it by 2. No, that is the standard way of dividing these measurements, because when you split it into 2, you have the right bust and you have the left bust. So, and the back, this bust now is also attached to this back. So now let's get into the measuring video. So in my subsequent video, I'm going to tell you why those measurements are taken like that and why they should be divided like that. So for example, when we want to start with our basic measurements, we have the bust. So I'm going to start with the bust. So let's take it like this. Let's take it step by step. I don't want to rush. So forgive me if I'm rushing, if I'm talking too fast. So let me try and calm down now. So if I want to take my measurements, let's take my mannequin is my client. So I want to first of all take my measurements. So let's first of all start with our shoulder measurements. When taking your shoulder measurements, you have your shoulder. Some people call it across back. You can see it termed as across back. You can see it termed as shoulder measurement. So when taking this measurement, you have your shoulders, your shoulder. Sorry. You have your shoulder, you have your arm. So sorry that my mannequin doesn't have an arm. Let's say from one tip of the shoulder to the other tip. Let's say from the right tip to the left tip. So now there is a bone that connects this shoulder to an arm. So when you're taking this measurement, you will tell your client to please try to be free, like ease up a bit. Then you put your tape on that part, that bone part, that connection that connects the shoulder to the arm. When you connect that, you put your tape, that is the front, that is the tip, the metal part. I had to remove mine because it always disturbs me anytime I want to take measurements or whenever I'm doing pattern drafting and anything. So I prefer using my tape like this. So when you take your tape, you put it here, then you take it across like this. You get it across. You try and tell your client to please, they should flex up, like you should ease up a bit. He or she should please be eased a bit. Then when you put that, you get the measurement from one shoulder to the other shoulder. You get that measurement and you write it down on your notepad or your notebook. Please, it is very important that when you are taking measurements, you should have your client's name written boldly on the first, that is the page that you are working on, with the measurement, in order not to misplace his or her measurements. And when it's time for you to make the outfit, you start looking for measurements that you can't find. It is very discouraging and it's unprofessional to do that, even as a beginner. So after taking that measurement for across back, you write it down on your book. So for example, now let's say here to here. So this mannequin is 14 for the across back or the shoulder. So I'm going to tilt it to the front. So we're going to start from the vertical. I just did the horizontal, that is the across back. I just did that measurement because that's like the first thing I normally start taking. That's the first measurement I take whenever I'm taking a measurement for a client. So I'm going to put my tip of my measuring tape on the shoulder here, on the shoulder. Now I'm going to take it to my bust. This is my bust. Your bust is the fullest part of your chest. Where your bust is, that is the fullest part. Then you take your measuring tape, you hold it like this, then you place it on the bust. The bust of this mannequin is 10. Now you see how to take the bust. You put it like this. Make sure your hand, the tip of your left or your right hand, is holding the first inch, that is the tip on the shoulder. Then your other hand now is, that's your thumb, is placed on where you're taking the measurement. Now this is the bust. Then we'll go to the under bust. Now your under bust is the part that is holding up the bust. So now when you take that, you drag it down, you take it like this. I'm sure you can see. So this is the under bust, and the under bust of this mannequin is 13.5. You can see the measurements. Please take the right measurement, because the problem is when you don't take the right measurement and you use wrong measurement to sew an outfit, when it comes out and you put it on, you'll be looking very funny. You won't like the outcome. So that is why I always recommend you should take the right measurement. Take your time and take the right measurement. You can first of all start with a mannequin, taking measurements on your mannequin, then before you now progress into taking for people, and you could also take for yourself. So when you finish taking your underbust, you can see the inscribed letter of the underbust there. Then after taking that, to take your waist measurement, please still leave your hand on your underbust. You can free the one for the bust. Then you take it to your waist. You could see the waist of my mannequin. Now see my waist, and I told you that the waist is the tiniest part. That is the once I want to take my measurements for my waist, I look for the tiniest part, this tiniest part here. I tilt a bit. I tell my client, please, can you tilt a bit? Once he or she tilts, then I can use my rope to tie that place, or my tape. I use it to tie that place just to highlight where the waistline is. So place it back on your shoulder tip. Take your bust, get your under bust. Now you measure to your waist. You can also ask your clients, are you okay? Is this your waistline? Is this? If you don't want to ask, you could just do exactly what I said. Then, for example, the waist of this mannequin is 18 inches. So now, sorry. So to take other measurements, since we have gotten our waist, to take other measurements, you go down to your hip. Now, the hip is the fullest part of your butt. That is the fullest part of your butt. That's the fullest part of your hips, your butt, anyone. So that's the fullest part down. That's where your butt is situated at. So you get your hip. My hip on this mannequin is 26. The hip to this mannequin is 26. Then we take it down to our knee. Look at our knee here. Our knee. Look at it here. You take it down to our knee. See, you can see that my tape is still under. It's still at the under bust. To take it to your knee, you measure your knee. Your knee for this mannequin is 40. Then you can take it down to the desired length of your client. So that is the vertical measurement that I just took right now. So we're going to take the horizontal measurement. So before I go to the horizontal measurement, there is something I normally do when taking measurements. We have the front waistline, and we also have the back waistline. So whenever I want to take my back waistline, my front waistline is different from the back waistline. Like the front waistline we got for this mannequin was 18. So now let's check the back waistline for this mannequin. Now you take your tape, you put it here. That's the connection from the head to the shoulder. You put your tape there and you take it down. And we take it down to the waistline for the back. So sometimes you can have the waistline for the back. It can be 2 inches. It can be 2 inches lower than the front waistline. Sometimes, okay, let's just be very sure. Let me be sure. My waistline for my mannequin is 18. So if I take that, then for my back here. So for this back, I'm getting they're about, say, 13.5 thereabouts. Sometimes, like for me as an individual, my front waistline is 18, and when I take my back, it's between 17, 16. So that is how the front waistline varies from the back waistline. So we're going to start with our horizontal measurement. So our horizontal measurement is going to start from the bust. We're going to start from the bust. This is how you put your tape, like this across. You take it round. You put a finger, the tip of your finger, like this. So whenever you're taking across measurements, please ask your clients, is this okay? Is this the tape, is it okay on you? Should I release it a bit? Do you want it to always ask, are you okay like this? Because sometimes if you make this bust too tight, when you get the measurement too tight and you use it to make an outfit, you find out that the bust becomes so muffed up, everything just becomes so tight and it doesn't look good at all, because everything's supposed to be relaxed, everything's supposed to feel relaxed on your client or on your body. So you put your tip, the tip of your finger like this, you tilt it like this, you make sure you're taking the full, that is the full part of your breast, that's the full part of your bust, your boobs. This is how to take it. You make sure there is ease, please, there should be ease on this part. So after taking that, you write it down on your notebook. Now this part is divided by 4, your bust is divided by 4. Then you go to your under bust. When taking your under bust, this is how you take it. You take it like this. Now your under bust, it has to be tight, not too tight that it will want to choke the person can't breathe well. No, not that tight, but it should be tight, should be tight enough, tight enough. Look at it, this is how you take it. It should be tight. Sorry, why this tape is dancing around on this mannequin is because the mannequin is slippery, the body is slippery, so that's why. So you have to make it firm. You take your under busts on your clients, make sure it is tight to hold up the bust. So after that, we're going to something we call nipple to nipple measurements. That is the bust span, that's the nipple to nipple span. You put your tape like this from the tip of your nipple, from the right to the left, you get that measurement, one nipple to the other nipple, you get that measurement down. So this measurement is divided by 2. So don't worry, in my next video I think I'm going to talk about measurements that should be divided by 4, measurements to be divided by 2. So you will get to understand why some of these measurements are divided by certain numbers. So then we go to the waist. This is the waistline. You put your tape, you get the waist of your clients. Another part that needs to be tight but not too tight, it should be eased at all time, is your waist, because you don't want your waist, for example, now a waist is 35, you now go and make it 30, sorry, maybe a waist is 26, like this mannequin now has a waist of 25, then you now go and make this mannequin a waist of 28. When you finish making this outfit you're making, you find that the waist is dropping and it's not nice at all. It's supposed to sit well, situated perfectly on the waist. So you put your finger, tip of your finger, you can see I get my ease on the waist of my mannequin. Then I go to round my round hip. So you can see that's the fullest part of my butt. That is my hip. I take my measurement. Now when taking this measurement, you have to do you have to take your tape like this to the end. When you do it like this, now your client will tell you okay. When you say, oh, is it okay here, she will tell you yes, it's okay here, because the hip, it's supposed to be fitted but not too fitted. You get, it's supposed to be fitted but not too fitted. You should be able to accommodate the bust, the butt, because if it's too tight, the butt, it tends to press the butt inside, then you now start having things like a flat ass. It tends to push it to in it tends to push it inside. So when you want to make your hip, please, there should be ease, so that when you finish making this outfit, it can accommodate your butt and your butt will sit perfectly well in your outfit or your garment. So there's an omitted measurement for the vertical line. So that is the hip point. That hip point now is from your waist to your hip. So when taking such measurements, you place the tip of your tape on your waist, you measure to the fullest part of your hip, and you get the measurements. So for example, now I have here to be 8 8 inches for the hip point of this mannequin. That is the fullest part of her butt, like this. You can see. Place your tape like this. Then that is the fullest part of her butt. That is 8. So that's for the vertical. Then we have the thigh measurement. What is this measurement now for when you're making your trouser? That's your pants. Then this is how to take the thigh measurement. You take your thigh measurement like this on one thigh. Please, ease. Remember, ease. Whenever we're taking measurements, ease. We should have ease. There should be ease. So you take it like this, round it, take it like this. This is how your measurement should be. There should be ease. You ask your client if this is okay. He or she will tell you, yes, I'm okay with this. Then you write down the measurement. Then you have the knee measurement. When taking the knee measurement, here it's on the knee cap, 1 inch above the knee. Then you take your knee measurements. Some people like their pants fitted at their knee. Some like it a bit free. Some like it to be palazzo. So that is for the knee. Then you have the mid calf. Then this mid calf now is, let me take it a bit. This big part, that's this bulgy part of your legs. That is your calf. You take your measurements. That's the calf. The calf measurement, the mid calf. Then after that, you take your ankle measurement. These are mostly for pants measurement. To take your ankle. So when we start drafting trouser patterns, sorry, I just like kimono outfits a lot. I want to do kimono outfits on this channel also. So when you want to have your pants, your jumpsuits, all these measurements, you need to take them, like your ankle measurements, then the floor length and everything. So that is that for the measurements. So now let's take our arms measurements. Like I told you, my mannequin doesn't have an arm. Sorry. So I'm going to take the measurement. I'm going to use myself for this measurement. I'm going to use my arm for this measurement. So when taking your arm measurements, you take from the tip of your arm. That is where your shoulder connects to your arm. You put your tape there. You take it down to your wrists. Sorry. So you take it down to your wrists. That is the desired length of your sleeves. You take it down, you put down. So I have 25 here. I like my sleeves to be around 25, 26. Then I take my elbow point. This is my elbow point before your elbow. This is your elbow. This is my elbow point. That is an inch before my elbow. That is my elbow point, or on my elbow. Then I take my sleeve. For example, if I'm doing like a short sleeve now, my short sleeve is usually from 10 to maybe 9 to 10. That's where my short sleeve normally stops at. 9 to 10. That's my short sleeve. Then if I want to have like a cap sleeve, is usually around say 6 inches or 5, depending on how short I want my cap sleeve to be. So after that, you take your round arm. This is my round arm. When taking your round arm, you take it like this. This is my round arm measurement. This is the round arm measurement for this mannequin. So if I'm to take it on my body now, it's like this. I put my tape like this. I take it like this. This is my round arm measurement. You see how I'm doing my hand, my arm? There's ease. I like ease. So this is 19. So I'm dividing that by 2 because I have 2 arms. Then I take my bicep measurement. That is like the, should I say the thickest part or the biggest part of my arm? That is my bicep. So see, I'm trying to free it so that, because when you're making outfit and it's too tight, you find out that you can't breathe inside, you can't sit, you can't stand, you can't move your body. And what is the beauty of an outfit when you can't move inside? Do you get me? So this is my bicep. Then this is my round elbow points, my round elbow points. Then this is my wrists. This is my wrists. See, this is my wrists. So these are the measurements, basic measurements taken for your garment. These are measurements that are required for our basic measurements. So like I said, they are critical points for a garment production. Like I mentioned, we have the bust, we have the under bust, we have the waist, we have the hip, we have the shoulder that is across back, then we have the sleeve and down, so on. So whenever we want to make any outfits in this channel, we're going to lay down the measurements that are needed for that outfit. So these are just the basic measurements needed. You need to know as a beginner and how to take them on your clients, please. So you can use your friends, you can call your friend out, you bring your measuring tape, you start to measure your friend, you measure yourself. Like that, you can start with basic measurements, and before you know, you will get used to taking measurements and taking them accurately. Because the problem is when you don't take the right accurate measurements for any garment you want to produce, you find out that whenever you make that garment, it looks very funny. So it's very important that we learn to take the right measurements for every or any garment. So do not be scared. You can go out and practice all these measurements that I have laid down on this video. So what are the basic tools needed for your measurements? You can have your mannequin, or it could be your client, it could be yourself. You have your measuring tape, you have your pen, you have your notebook. It is very important to have your notebook where you write down your measurements. Then you write under it, you could write the style that you're making. It could be an A-line gown. You write it, then you start writing down the necessary measurements needed. And do not forget ease when taking measurements. Your measurement shouldn't be tight. You shouldn't always put in consideration that measurements should not be so tight that you will not be able to breathe inside. Sure you get. So that is it for now. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to see more of our videos that we're going to be posting. So in our next video, I'm going to put out a content, maybe measurements that should be divided by 2 and should be divided by 4, basic measurements. And if time permits us, then we'll go into necessary tools for sewing as a beginner. There are tools that you are needed to have as a beginner to help you aid your journey in the fashion world. So thank you for watching, and do not forget to like and subscribe. See you in my next video. Bye.